Welcome back to day 109 of our chess journey to 1500 ELO on chess.com. Well, we won yesterday, feels nice, but I did get a comment though that we might be focusing a bit more on reaching our ELO goal than on our journey here of learning, which might be true. It's easier to get affected when you're close to a goal. Of course, we'll celebrate the wins, but at the same time, I will try to keep a focus on learning, like we've been doing thus far. So, which opponent do we get today? We get Scythe02 from Mongolia. Let's play a Sicilian. We get a Bowdler attack. This is not an ideal opening. Now this, and this doesn't quite work. Our opponent knows how to play this somewhat okay. We might have a3 followed by this, which honestly I think we'll go for this variation. We haven't played this a lot, but there is some spice to it. Let's just push up, gain some space, force the bishop back, and now we could look to hit some targets here. Okay, so what is our best development plan here? Surely this is no good, we should get our pieces out. I was looking at this. Doesn't necessarily do a whole lot, I think, but it does help us get our piece out. This might be a move. The thing is, I do not quite love what happens after e5. Although, if this is ever played, we might want this kind of a setup, which is why I might want to argue for delaying this knight development. So instead, following that logic, let's bring the bishop out here first. Because this knight might want an alternative route. We get d3, might see a move like this. Still don't think we can play this because takes, and well, now we can, to be honest. I think we can because of our bishop helping us out. So takes here, and I think we should be good. Well, the kings will open up, but that's a mutual thing here. Should not be the end of the world. So we're grabbing a lot of space here. Our opponent develops the bishop. We could play this, but we've got quite a few pawns on light squares, so I don't think it's ideal for us to trade off our dark squared bishop just yet. This is an option perhaps. We'd need to get our king side developed. Could develop our bishop like this. Honestly, no, this is not quite a free pawn. This, and we can't go here because of the queen. So what if this is played and we get this, then this pawn is defended, and it gets kind of annoying, I think. So I don't think we'll play this. So maybe this. I mean, I did mention it might not be ideal to trade off our dark squared bishop, but our opponent might have similar issues as well, with a lot of their pawns on light squares. And this does help us get castled quickly. which might be difficult if we do not. I realized we might have this maneuver. Kicking the knight, where can it go? Maybe back here. No, this doesn't quite work. Now let's just come out with the bishop. Might not be the most accurate move. I didn't find a convincing absolute best move though. This just helps us get developed as quickly as possible. So I don't see why we wouldn't go for it. Now the queen has developed as well. Or well, wouldn't quite call it incredibly developed, but okay, the knight comes out. First of all, what happens here? We don't quite win a pawn. This now, and the knight defends this. So we can't gain a lot there. Maybe knight out here, I guess. Controlling this. And getting a minor piece out. Might be decent. Let's say we go here, castles. Can we go here? What happens if takes, and rook here? Doesn't look incredibly fun. I would like to control this square though, because if the pawn here is allowed to advance, it might get annoying. It seems like it might strangle us there, and we won't have a lot of space at least. This bishop, well, still kind of blunted. This, if this is played, I guess we castle. Do we have any tactic here? Not quite, I think. Might want to get the knight out first here. The issue, as I mentioned, is this looks slightly awkward. Wouldn't want to play king to f8, I think. This was what I was looking at. So what happens here then? I guess our opponent could still force the issue. We don't quite want to get pinned, so I don't want to go here. Maybe going for this, and I first of all I want to find a good response here to see whether we have a way out, and honestly we do, because I forgot this brings our knight over here controlling d5, giving us enough pieces to where this does no longer become an issue. I forgot we had this, thought this and this was all we had on d5. Or well, in terms of controlling d5 at least. Still, this does come with some annoying aspects. Don't want to get forked, so let's say this is played. First of all, we can't go here because of this. It's a trap. Can we go here? Then if knight takes, there is some annoying stuff here at the end. This is annoying. Let's try to calculate this concretely. First of all, breaking this tension. Is this free stuff? Takes. Guess takes here first. And in this position, I think we can castle. Yeah, I think that's going to have to be our plan. Let's take first. Our opponent is getting some activity here, which, well, it's not ideal, but there is not a whole lot we can do about it. Bishop still kind of blunted here. Luckily, this pawn might become a target. We can't take it now though. I think we have to rush castling here. We don't want to move any knights, but if we castle, this is a threat. Or is it? Let's say we castle and this is played, can we go here? But then takes, and we lose a pawn at the end of the line. So this doesn't work out as well as I hoped for tactically. So we might have to move this knight first. But then if this is played, where does this knight go? Maybe here, hitting this, and maybe being able to come back to h6, but I don't love the position there. This though, and we can reposition here with an extra defender. I think that might be our better option here. So let's play here first. It's going to delay our castling by one move. But, well, we don't quite have the option here of getting castled if it loses material. So currently all of our opponent's pieces are playing, whereas we have limited amounts of pieces in the game. We need our rooks, and we need them tomorrow. I was going to say we need them yesterday, as quickly as possible, really. Let's calculate this. This move here takes away this, so I guess our opponent might be expecting to push next turn. If we go here, takes, and we take, and this doesn't work. So if we castle, this is played, we go here, takes. I don't think this is bad. I think we are allowed to castle now, luckily, because otherwise this might get a bit awkward. This pawn is still kind of weak. This is an unexpected move. It hits this knight. Going here, and our pawns are messed up. If we go here, well, takes, and our pawns are messed up. This is playable, maybe, although it's not ideal. This, And I guess we force the rook out, but then our rooks are no longer connected. However, this followed by this, and I think our position might be slightly better. Here, our opponent can't go to d8, can't go to d7, d6 is hit, d5, d4. Yeah, our opponent has to come back. If we're able to trade off one pair of rooks, I think that's going to be advantageous for us. Because if not, our opponent is going to have full control over the d-file. But the rook comes all the way back, which I think is going to be good for us, because now this can't be followed with a move doubling up here. I think this looks good. The pawn is kind of annoying our knight, but we found out this was not ideal because of this move. So let's come to e7. We are not getting forked. Oh, never mind. I want to calculate this quickly. Yeah, this is good because we can go here and this knight supports us from e7. Because otherwise, we could have gotten forked here if we are not able to come up here. Luckily we can, so I think this looks good. And then we'll try to play on the d-file. This knight could jump in. Don't know how much it can do. Could go here. But this is not much of a threat. This knight hasn't been able to come in a long time. It's just simply serving the purpose here of defending e4. Oh, this is a unique way of doubling. But here I think, if this is played, takes, and here I think we might win material. Or this might be good. Or this might actually be our best move, as it kills off the option here of doubling. It kills off this bishop diagonal. It grabs space. Only thing is it allows for this move, but there is not a lot for the bishop to do. Can't jump to any, or the knight rather, can't jump to any good squares. So I think this might be good. If we see this, well, do we just take? Maybe this is not that good. I don't see a convincing response to this. But I don't love this either. Still, let's go here. It's played. Maybe this was not the best move. We have to take though, because otherwise this looks quite bad. Let's take. If this is played, the bishop gets kind of blunted for the time being, and if this takes, the pawns look bad. The bishop does take, leaving our opponent with some weaknesses. Now I think our best move is going to be playing on the d-file. Okay. Can we come here maybe? Might be good. It does seem to apply some pressure and the knight can't do a whole lot. Problem is we can't easily double here. We can't come up here. This could be played, but well, I don't love the following position. Let's say this is played. The issue here is this might not be ideal because we can't quite abuse this weak pawn, I think. Let's come here. I'm realizing we're running out of time. 2 minutes left. I guess I'm thinking too much about the decisions. This knight seems to be our worst piece. What can we do about it? I'm looking at some options here. Don't see any good prospects here. What happens here? Can we come up? This square doesn't do a whole lot for us. If this knight moves, we can take this pawn, I think. What happens if this pawn moves? I think we just jump in like I mentioned. And we might get this. Maybe this. Well, not quite because of the bishop, so I guess we have to take with this. We're given the d-file. We have to take. We're first. What does our opponent play? We get this. Okay. Now I guess we have to jump in. We have great control over d5, so this shouldn't be bad. We don't quite hit e5 anymore, but I think we might have some targets here for long-term pressure. Expecting this to be played, maybe followed by this. Don't want to take with the bishop because our bishop is much better than whatever this bishop is doing. If I was playing as our opponent, might even consider just getting the bishop off because, well, it does not have any prospects unless this pawn is pushed. The knight takes. Let's take with our knight. Now the rook is hit. We could get pinned. If this is played, maybe rook to d7. Preparing to play this. Or could we complicate this in any ways? I think we'll play like this. Alternatively, rook to c8, but I don't quite see what we're doing there. Let's come up. This might be our best move. Is this good? Let's have a quick look here. Let's say we take and this is played. I guess our opponent does get rid of their weakness. But this, or this rather. And if we take here, might be a better endgame, difficult to say. It's either this or this. Guess we'll come here. We don't have a lot of time. This sure doesn't look bad, at least. So this endgame is first. Just want to make sure this doesn't lose. No, it doesn't. This versus this, after which we have this. This pawn is hanging. I think we'll take the knight. Now we have to take here first, or our opponent is going to threaten to make a queen. Now this is no longer hanging. Can we maybe centralize our king here? I think this is good. Might be a mistake of our opponent to allow us to trade off that pawn, as I think it was a massive weakness. It was stuck on a light square. It wasn't easy to defend. Let's move up with the king. Bishop here is kind of controlling our knight. Don't quite want to play this. We might be forced to play f6. Here we might have this though. I think this might be good, helps us get our king up. Oh, I hope our opponent is not seeing this. I missed our h-pawn hanging. It was spotted. Well, that's bad. But I think we still win a pawn back. Don't see how this pawn here is defended after we get this move in. We might end up with a draw here though. If we get here, we might be allowed to play this. Yeah, this is a mistake, or well, it's a mistake we didn't quite get to fix. Can't go here. Maybe this. I guess the bishop will get evacuated. It's not. Can we not go here now? I think this might trap the bishop. If this is played, we take. Is the bishop lost? 20 seconds. Don't have a lot of time to calculate, but I think this might be good. I think so. I don't know. But it does look promising. And as long as we keep one pawn alive here, I think we might have chances of winning. Hopefully. This and this. Yeah, the bishop is just lost. Can't be defended. I don't know if this is a win though, or just a draw. Still difficult to say, at least from my level of experience. So what is our ideal plan here? Do we have time to come around? Or do we have to come back and defend from this position? I think maybe coming back might be ideal, or required even. If this is played... Oh no, this can be played, and we might be forced to trade off our pawn. And this is at best a draw. Well, that's not ideal. We have to move the king though. Let's just go here, and well, I guess we might just see a draw here. Our opponent wants to play on. Let's come up here. Didn't see a way of jumping in here. Now the draw is forced. It sucks, but well, not a lot we can do. Quite confident this is simply just a draw. Yeah, let's just force the issue. As we have nothing to play for, whereas our opponent has quite a lot. Now, thanks for the game. Well played to our opponent here. I see we didn't make any mistakes today apparently. I'm curious to have a look at the game review still. We didn't lose any points and we didn't gain any. Still, this might be educational. 90.8 for our opponent and 90.7 for us. I think it's just a pretty clean game all over, or in general, but we did make some inaccuracies, which we'll have a look at. This was all good. This was not ideal. I can't quite see why this was that bad. Let's try to follow this line here though. Going in here and pressing on this. I thought we could just click through the lines. Maybe not, maybe here. Queen out. This is the top engine line. Apparently it's just evaluated as slightly bad for us. I didn't see this, it's difficult to evaluate, I think. I don't think that's an easy spot. Here we should have apparently taken and played this. Wow. I guess we just pin ourselves. Here I was looking at something like this. Thought this might be forced and it didn't look ideal there. Our opponent gets the active rook. But knight to d7 is surprising. An alternative was this, which I think I just forgot was even an option, to be honest. But still, I'm not quite convinced. I'm definitely not convinced here. And anyways, it's apparently good. Played this instead, and or maybe this is where our inaccuracies came from, just not taking the pawn. Maybe not. This was better for us. Should have played king to e7. It makes sense. Yes, our king can't get targeted easily, and it would have made the job here on playing on the d file a whole lot easier. I guess I just forgot to evaluate here that our king was never in danger. And this is both active and great at playing on this file, and well, didn't go for it, allowed this to happen. Apparently this is good. What happens if takes? Here we get the pawn. Apparently taking with the bishop is best. We target this, I guess. I didn't see this. Neither did our opponent. The accuracies today were quite minor, but it adds up. We could have won without them. Still, it's kind of... I guess we can't expect to play without any inaccuracies every game. Doesn't seem likely. Apparently here we had a great position. I don't quite see why this is that good. Can we forcibly win this pawn? Might be. If not, I don't quite see what's happening here. Let's say this is played. What happens if we try to take? Oh, I guess here we just walk our king over first, and apparently we win the pawn. We went here, which still leaves us with a good position. This was good. Here I thought this, and for some reason I didn't like this. Forgot this just wins an exchange. Kind of weird, should have seen it. Only reason, as I mentioned, I didn't play this was because I thought, oh no, we're getting an isolated pawn. We would have won the rook. So that's just a miscalculation. This is probably just a draw. This move. But this is difficult to find, to be honest. Would have been a tricky line and not easy to spot at all. Because taking the bishop there and we lost the game. Did we ever have a chance here in the endgame? Apparently not, I think, because even here we are not quite favored by the engine. Apparently we should have went here. I didn't quite feel convinced. Thought our options might be more numerous if we went here. But, well, our opponent quickly found out this was going to be the best response. And why is this evaluated as plus 0.5 in favor of white? I'm as lost for a good answer as you are, I guess. We are up a knight, the game is drawn. Favors white? Don't ask me, guys. I can't answer. Anyways, we got a draw today, didn't make a lot of progress, but at the same time we did not lose any points either. I think this was a good and educational game. We had some slight inaccuracies, which I think most of them were easy to evaluate as not ideal in retrospect. I didn't quite see all of them. They were not quite human, I guess, all of them. I guess from what I could see at least. Anyways, here I'm quite happy with today's game. 90 plus accuracy for both us and our opponent. So well played to our opponent. Well, thanks for watching to the end of the video, guys. This has been our game for today, and I hope to see you all tomorrow. Bye bye.